Number one, you need to put God first in everything you do. You need to love what you do, because sometimes the frustrations are so much. So you need to build your resilience and be persistent and pursue excellence, because that is what will set you apart from anyone else in this fashion industry. It doesn't matter whether in Kenya, Nigeria, or Milan, you need to pursue excellence and be resilient. There's nothing as much as networking, or as, you can never over network or under network. You just have to keep networking, and you don't have to network with people in your industry. It's in various industries, because you don't know where you can get an investor. You don't know where you can get someone who can link you to someone else. So network with people in all industries. Be a good human and authentic, because people can see right through you if you're being inauthentic, and if you're not being transparent, people can tell. And finally, never compare your journey to others, because everyone's journey is really, really different. So I think key thing is to stay focused always and just keep going. All right. So Margaret, let me know if there's any questions before I can go on to the next section of personal branding, now that I've finished my personal life. And I'm getting into now personal branding within the fashion and creative industry. So what is personal branding? So literally, personal branding is the practice of how you market yourself and your career as a brand, whether it's your career or the brand that you own. So it compromises your skills, your experiences, your personality. It's a conscious, intentional effort to how you influence people's public perception of yourself. So especially as creatives, we are a brand, our personal brand, and then the brands that we own. So it's very important to be very aware of your brand and how you're representing it. So in this day of social media, because your brand, you need to be found on social media, right? As a creative. Why? Because it helps you market yourself as an expert in your area. It gives you reach to your target audience. It allows control over your image, and it's a tool that helps build trust with people. So how do you grow your social media presence? This is a question I always get. So what are your goals? How do you want to make profit? How do you want to network and stand out? How do you want to optimize your profile? So my example, I've put, if you Google fashion stylist Kenya, my name comes up first. Why? Because I've been able to work with someone in IT to optimize my name, so that if you put fashion stylist in Kenya, my name comes up first. So I'm top of mind all the time. And as a brand, whatever brand you're in, whatever industry within the creative, learn, if you have someone in IT, or you can speak to someone who can just help you optimize, so that if someone is looking for an accessory designer or top women's designer in Nigeria or Kenya, wherever, then your branding comes first. So it's really important. Then about quality content, I mainly share content that's related to fashion. So I don't like getting into political issues or any other issues. I just focus on fashion and branding, and that is how I put out my content, and that's what helps me stay relevant. And I consistently post. So you can't post in January and then post in May and expect to have a following. You have to be very intentional about how you post and what you post. So normally every week I already have a calendar in my mind of what I want to post. Some days I don't feel like posting, but I have to push myself to post, because I'm like, I keep saying my money and how I make my money is off social media, because that's how I get all my references and my clients, especially through LinkedIn and Instagram. Those are the two places where I get a lot of my clients from. And then I also like to engage with my audiences. You're approachable and relatable. So again, if someone is inauthentic, and you can tell by the way they're posting, and you can tell them the way they're responding, you definitely know it's not them responding, it's someone else. So these are just a few tips on how to engage. So I have a few examples here of different brands that I've looked at, and how they are working and what works for them. So this brand is called Kilentar. It's a Nigerian brand. It celebrates traditional craftsmanship. So if you look at this picture here, it's literally how they begin the production process. So if you go on their Instagram, you'll see from production to the runway. So it's amazing the content they put out there, just to give you a whole idea of how they begin the production process to the end. And this is also keeps your consumers like us engaged as to how traceability, where did they begin and where they ending on their own. So I just put something there so you can see this. It's amazing. So if you see that again, so literally I think I'll play it again. So literally, you're able to tell the process. So this other brand here is also a key thing for growing your brand, is collaboration. So, and you also need to be very targeted on who you're collaborating with. Is it a brand or is it an influencer who shares the same values? Do you have the same target market? Don't collaborate with a brand or a person for the sake of it. Make sure that your brand values and your target market are aligned. So this is an example of another brand, Severe Nature, from Nigeria. They did a collaboration with Guinness Nigeria that pays homage to Nigeria's vibrant community. So another one I also thought it was a great example was Ekantik. It's a South African brand. So they did a collaboration with Reebok South Africa for their new collection. And it's a whole blend of fusion of style because they want to show how the Western world can meet the, Africa and create a collection. So this is also an amazing brand and their collection. So how do you attract new clients? You must have a compelling brand story. You see the story I gave you about my life from once upon a time, that is my story. It's unique and no one can ever take it away from me. So as a brand, what is your story? What is unique about, who the brand is? That is the story that sells. Your e-commerce website needs to be amazing. I've given examples. Obviously, we all know Jumia. We have it all across Africa. Shop Zetu is an East African brand. It's a Kenyan brand that literally just grew out in the last 4 years during COVID, right? So the mother brand is called Vivo. It's a women's wear store. And at the time when during COVID, we were not visiting stores, then they morphed into Shop Zetu. So Shop Zetu stores African brands from around Africa, but mainly Kenya, and it's the fastest growing e-commerce site in East Africa. So also pop-up markets is a great way to meet people. So I've given you some examples whether they're in Lagos or here in Kenya. Social media marketing, you need to really invest in promoting ads, invest in just good quality pictures and content on your social media, and always get customer, referrals, get their feedback and their experiences, and that helps you to attract clients. So this is just Shop Zetu. As I said, it's the fastest growing East African e-commerce website, and it's Kenyan based. So from growing your customers, how do you retain them? You must understand their preferences, their needs. You must give your customers an experience that they will always want to come back. Quality products, great service, seamless interactions. When they send you a message on WhatsApp, if you take 4 or 5 days to respond, you've already lost a customer. People want people who are active, respond to them quickly, give them the information that they need. How much is this? How long will it take? Those little things, if you take like 5 days to respond to a customer asking how much is this dress, then you've lost them, moved on. So your customers needs to trust you. So if you say you'll deliver the garment on Friday or the bag on Friday, let it be Friday and not Monday. And we cannot be people who put off our phones on Friday because we're not ready to deliver the product. So you don't want them calling you. So this is where authenticity and come in. It's very important to have feedback, right? So through your surveys, reviews, always ask your customers for feedback. How did you like the product? How's the outfit? Does it work? What else can we improve? And customers are very good in giving you very constructive feedback, and then maintain regular communication with them. So another thing about customer retention, I found this, there's this brand also, it's called Outdoor Voices. It's an active wear brand. And if you look here, they have a great return policies, right? So if you look here, returns are accepted on all unworn and damaged items within 30 days of purchase. A quick try-on is cool. Spin class and a long run is less cool, right? Have a question, get in touch. So they've already given you their terms and conditions here. So I want a different color of size. So probably if you're returning, this is what you want to choose. I want a different style. I want a refund. Very simple. Select the item you're sending back. You'll be prompted to select a new size or color. So just do that. Print your return label and mail back to the original item. We'll ship the new items and new right away. Very simple, clear terms for return and exchange. And this is how you maintain your clients, because if they have a seamless return experience with your product and they'll come back again because they know there's an issue, they can return it and it'll be seamless. So how do you differentiate yourself in the market? Your product has to be different. You have to be perceived differently. So for what I have been able to work on and build my brand is I'm focusing on corporate clients. So most of the clients who I deal with, whether it's personal shopping or wardrobe review, it's corporate men and women. So that is my niche. So that is what I focus on and I market to, and that's every day. I'm always thinking about how do I improve my experience for my corporate clients, and that's the service I offer. So, service differentiation, you have to be consistent in your brand experience across all platforms. So the content I post on LinkedIn is very skewed towards my corporate clients. My content on Instagram is slightly different, right? So you must know what content works well for what platform. Again, who's your target market? And then obviously you have to be able to differentiate your price and know what works better on which, for my brand, right? So for me, I already know I'm dealing with corporate clients, so I can afford to charge these kind of prices because these are corporates and they'll be able to afford it. So I want to get into the importance of data and insights. So why is data important? So for any brand, you need to understand who are your customers. You need to get data about them, where they shop, what they like, what their weekends are like, how much they're willing to make, why? Because it helps you make an informed decision on how you're going to work with your customer. You understand their behaviors, their patterns. It helps you optimize your operations. And then you can also give them personalized customer experience. And then you're also able to measure the success. These will be your key performance indicators. So as a brand, these black trousers sold really well for this season because our customers love black, blah, blah, blah. So any data that you can get for your brand is insightful and it will help. So data is key. So how do you measure your success? Choose an attainable goal, whether it's traffic leads or awareness or sales. You can set a time frame for a campaign to run, and then you're able to look back at it. So most successful brands campaigns at least run at least for between 2 weeks to maximum a month, all right? So you need to identify relevant performance indicators. Is there traffic on the website? Did we make sales? How much of the sales compared to before the ad campaign and after? Then you can be able to see, okay, did this ad campaign work? Was it effective? And then you're able to analyze your data and metrics. And right now we have so many tools you can use, such as Google Analytics and social media analytics. So what are the challenges of scaling a creative business? Skill and talent shortages. So sometimes we focus on hiring, retaining and developing great talent, but sometimes you can get the talent, then they keep on leaving after you train them. So this is just an ongoing thing of you just need to balance and see, I always say just constantly have a team of, your main team, and then have interns so that there's continuity. If someone has to leave, then at least you have the interns who at least understand the business and they can be scaled up, to management or to a better, a higher position. When you don't adapt to change, you need to be, that affects your business. So you need to be agile and willing to adapt to the different changes. If you don't invest in technology, now AI is everywhere. I'm actually in the process of revamping my website, and I'm using AI to give me my images. And there's so many tools in technology. If you don't embrace technology, you'll be left behind. So another thing is if you scale too fast, then that affects your business, because then you realize you've scaled and you don't have enough finances to justify or pay your bills. So it's about slow, progressive growth. And then you need to be ready to optimize for greatness. So what are the key elements of a fashion brand strategy? What is your purpose, brand purpose? Why does your brand exist? What is the brand vision? You need to have a roadmap for the future. Where do you see your brand in 2 years, 4 years? What are your values? What is your brand willing to do? Because once you know what your brand values are, then you know who you're willing to associate with, who you can work with, who you will choose not to work with, which influencer works best for your brand. It's really important, and this will affect your target audience. And then also your personality of the brand. Is it playful? Is it rebellious? Is it eco-conscious? Is it sustainable? And what is your brand voice? Is it authentic? These are very key things to know and understand for your brand. I just want to finalize with the avenues of exporting and importing indigenous fashion. So what are some of the ways you can do this? This is through trade shows. I've been, can meet international buyers. These trade shows, exhibitions, and also, collaborating and also showcasing on international fashion weeks, whether it's within Africa or the international markets. E-commerce platforms, I've talked about that. Collaboration with international retailers and stocking your collections there. You can promote cultural exchange. So I've just given an example here of, it's called Fashion Africa Trade Expo. They actually featured, I think, in Vogue as, one of the great platforms to watch out for. Then it's a key B2B platform created to build new business relationships between suppliers in Africa and international fashion brands. Because right now, most brands in Africa want to scale up and be recognized and, have their products available in the international markets. And then finally, with the growth of Afrobeats and influencers, this is a great way to have our brands exported into the international market and around Africa. And this is perfect because it's online. Everyone is seeing your brand. If a certain musician or personality wears it, it's seen. You have buyers, you have press, and that's a great way to export African fashion.